So, I want to talk about something that kind of goes against everything we're told these days. It's this idea that maybe, just maybe, real growth isn't about chasing the next new, shiny thing. What if it's found by returning to the exact same place over and over and over again? In a world that's just obsessed with novelty, that thought feels, well, it feels important. Just feel that for a second. That sound, that texture. Maybe for you, it's not a yoga mat. Maybe it's the specific weight of a coffee mug in your hand in the morning, or the click of your keyboard, the familiar path you take on a walk. It's that moment where your body just knows what to do next. You don't even have to think about it. No, really, think about it. What's that one simple, repeated thing that your body just knows? We tend to write these things off, right, as just routine, mundane. But what if that's exactly where the magic is hiding? This gets me thinking about the story of Clara Ramírez. For 6 whole years, she did the exact same sun salutation sequence pretty much every single morning. And you might hear that and think, wow, that sounds robotic. But she says it was the total opposite. She calls it intimacy. See, when your body already knows the moves, your mind is finally free to notice everything else. But here's the thing, it wasn't always like that for her. And if we're being honest, it's not like that for most of us, is it? We are always chasing the new workout, the new productivity app, the new hobby. We've somehow learned to confuse novelty with progress, to think that moving forward always has to mean moving on. Yeah, this slide just nails the difference. Novelty feels like progress, for sure. It's a rush. It's like stamping your passport in a new country. Check, done. But depth? Oh, depth is different. Depth is progress. It's about actually understanding the landscape of that one place you decided to stay. Novelty lets you hide from your own patterns, but depth puts them right in front of you. And this quote from her just says it all, doesn't it? She talks about her early days, just jumping from class to class, terrified of missing out. She was collecting stamps, not actually building any real understanding. And man, how many of us do that in our own lives, with jobs, with projects, even with people? So the huge turning point for Clara happens on a trip to an ashram in Rishikesh, India. This is where that whole idea that repetition is just stagnation completely shatters for her. The setup there was incredibly simple. The very same practice every morning, no exceptions. And what's wild is how quickly she went from resisting it to having this huge revelation. I mean, by day 3, she was bored out of her mind. But by day 10, everything was different. Oh, we all know this feeling. We know this voice, right? That little inner critic that just pipes up the second something becomes familiar. Okay, got it. This is boring. What's next? It's our mind just begging for entertainment because it mistakes stillness for standing still. And then comes this line, the line that changes absolutely everything. Her teacher, Guru Devendra, doesn't give her a new pose. He gives her a totally new way to see. The practice isn't what needs to change. Your attention is what needs to change. You can find something new, not by doing something new, but by being more aware of what you're already doing. And look, at first, she didn't buy it. Not for a second. But she kept showing up. And then right around day 10, after all that resistance started to quiet down, this new kind of space just opened up. It's like her body stopped performing and it started listening. For the first time, she noticed these tiny things that were just impossible to see when she was busy chasing the next pose. You know, how her left shoulder held tension, a tiny rotation in her hips she'd never felt before. And that's when it hit her. The real intelligence wasn't in learning more shapes. It was in deeply, truly living in the ones she already knew. So this brings up a huge question, right? If repetition is actually this powerful, why do our brains fight it so hard? Why are we so addicted to change? Clara has this absolutely brilliant name for that feeling. She calls it restlessness dressed as ambition. That's the voice telling you you're limiting yourself. You should be doing more, trying something else. But really, it's just a clever costume for our mind's deep desire to avoid looking too closely in the mirror. So the logic is actually pretty simple. There's a much deeper reason we resist this stuff, something that goes way beyond just being bored. It's because repetition is a mirror. When you do the same thing day in and day out, there's nowhere to hide. That practice, whatever it is, reflects back exactly who and what you are on that particular day. Your stress, your joy, your exhaustion. There are no new distractions to save you. And that's the bottom line. That's the heart of it. We don't run from repetition because it's simple. We run from it because it's honest. It just strips away all the noise and leaves us with, Well, with ourselves. And that can be a really intense thing to face. But there's another way to look at all of this, a much warmer way. What if we stop thinking about repetition as a discipline we have to force ourselves through and start seeing it as an act of devotion we get to come back to? Clara makes this beautiful connection to her grandmother, Isabella, who watered her lemon trees every single morning. When Clara was a kid, she just thought it was the most boring chore in the world. But now she gets it. It was a quiet ritual. It was an anchor for her grandmother's day. It was an act of love. It was never really about the trees. It was about the returning. And so, where does all this leave us? It leaves us with this final, beautiful image to just hold on to. The most profound changes are often the quietest ones. They don't happen through big, frantic shifts, but through a steady, devoted return. So what in your life is just waiting for you to come back to it and really pay attention?